One of the things I feel has slowly been diminishing in my mind as a moviegoer is being so totally immersed into a movie to the point that I am just awestruck with how things are being done, how scenes are being constructed, how some of the big action feats and crazy car chase scenes and fight scenes and all these crazy new and sort of inventive things are being done in some movie nowadays, and just raising that big question in my head as I am just amazed by everything going on the big screen in front of me. How did they do that? Just seeing all the new and crazy and different things going on the screen and trying to pick apart how the different things might have happened on set, how things were done, and then the scene just gets crazier and things just keep totally revolving, going in that same crazy direction and getting even crazier as the scene and movie goes along. Still being super stupefied by everything and still just going, how did they do all this in the movie? Such a big question that I feel like is slowly kind of seeping away in my mindset as I see movies. A couple of factors that I feel that contribute to losing that sort of euphoric curiosity of watching the movies is one, the unfortunate nature and curse of being a growing and developing filmmaker is you just learn and crave learning about how movies are made, and you learn about all the behind the scenes processes of how a scene is constructed, how actors are brought in and used, digitalization and how CGI works, and how people are replaced with digital characters, set extensions, sky extensions, shooting in one location to make it look like another location. All of those different kind of common and what have become now standard tricks and techniques for filmmaking, for cheating, for making productions look, a lot bigger and $100 million more expensive than they actually are. We sort of dissect the movies in our head and we figure out the different techniques that must have been used in the different scenes and the different techniques that must have been used with all these crazy feats and great spectacle that's going on in the movie. So it turns into how amazing the scene is, then you realize, oh, that was digital, that car didn't actually move that way, this fight was actually faked in these different ways, I'm familiar with this choreography method. It's sort of that subconscious intuitive breakdown of figuring out how the scenes were done, how these crazy feats are being done, because we're familiar with the techniques, we know about the different techniques and the different tricks that filmmakers have been using over the past couple of decades or so and have become basically standard form of filmmaking and standard form of putting all these different pieces together to form these scenes in crazy ways. It starts to become very familiar with us, those of us who know what's being done and know what's being used in the filmmaking. It's still a lot of fun to watch and these movies are still incredible to watch, but still doesn't have that super awestruck and immersive sensation that you otherwise would have from a movie of this caliber. Like, think back to when you first saw Jurassic Park, or think back to when you first saw Terminator, or Star Wars, of course, or anything from James Cameron, the Alien movies, especially as a kid, and even to adults back then when all these crazy new special effects techniques were new, just how, crazily immersed you were into those scenes, how crazily immersed you were into these new environments and these science fiction environments, and asking constantly, how amazing is this, and how do they do all those things? Now that those techniques and those methods of filmmaking have become much more polished and much more common, certainly in this entertainment, it kind of loses that immersive effect on us. We know those different techniques, they're used pretty much all the time in all kinds of productions nowadays. Hence, you start to sort of lose those feelings of amazement and you kind of stop asking, how did they do that? Because you kind of intuitively know how they did those crazy things. Having said all that depression though, there are a few filmmakers out there who do make it their ambition, make it their mission, and make it essentially their job in the film industry to not only tell brand new and different kinds of stories, but to consistently make their movies and seek to make their movies and challenge the filmmaking methods and techniques to make their movies in new and different ways. And certainly Christopher Nolan is still one of those who continues to break new ground with his filmmaking, storytelling, and definitely with his new and crazy ideas. When Inception came out 10 years ago, everybody, including especially myself, was really blown away by the movie, really blown away by how it was done, really blown away by the new dreamscape story world that's going on and the new dream physics that were going on, the psychological aspects that, though could come off kind of boring or super complicated and just a huge mess of a movie, was then integrated into kind of a more personal story, but also became this crazy heist and spy espionage type of plot. Dreams became this fun and interesting interesting new concept and also became a very powerful and exploitive kind of tool for going on missions and accomplishing these crazy and complex, ambitious goals. All these new things are being constructed on the canvas, all these crazy things are being introduced into the already abstract nature of cinema. I kept thinking to myself, surely Christopher Nolan can't top himself past this in this movie. Then Tenet comes out, and I kept asking myself how all these different crazy sequences were done. Even last year in 2019, which was definitely a great year for movies, had some incredible movies made in it. Avengers Endgame, I would say even John Wick Chapter 3, 1917, the one-shot war movie that won Best Visual Effects, Robert Eggers' The Lighthouse, Ford vs. Ferrari. Certainly for that year, you can go on and on with the incredible work there. And here we are in 2020, I know, where even just a few movies have come out, I'm still blown away by Tenet. I mean, I'm not just blown away that we have managed to release it this year and not super postpone it to next year, but I'm still blown away by that kind of a movie that's come out and those kinds of crazy feats that were done in the movie. But still, how did they do it? How incredible was that stuff? I'm finally now asking that big question in my mind. I was asking that question repeatedly in my mind, watching all these crazy things happen in the movie. Is this what it feels like to go back to the movies? Is this what it feels like to be euphorically struck by the movies? Can I even say those things? That's just how it feels here. Christopher Nolan is one of the few filmmakers today that push the boundaries, that tries all kinds of new ideas, tries all kinds of new things, all kinds of for real things in his movies to make his movies much more spectacular and try all these brand new crazy things to go on his movies. And those really bring back those awestruck sensations and all those awestruck thoughts and curiosities with the movie and brings back that question of how did they do it? How are they doing any of that? Now that question really wouldn't come to my mind every single time that I watch a movie, which would be wonderful, but just realistically and naturally, it's not like every single movie is going to try out all kinds of different new and crazy ways of filmmaking just for the sake of making something fun and blowing our minds every single time. But it's a really great reward and a really great reminder to the magic and skill of filmmaking when you are blown away and are really astonished by all the crazy new things being done in the movie, and you can't help and just not be able to dissect anything that's going on or figure out how any kind of technique or work was done in the movie and all the crazy feats were done in the movie. You just kind of scream out and think, how did they do those things? Let me know and leave a comment below. How do you feel about movies overall? Can you kind of relate to me in that only once in a while you're astonished and blown away by the movies? Do you enjoy movies no matter what? Are you kind of particular in that a movie has to be really new and really fresh and do really crazy brand new things to really lift you to the edge of your seats and just bring you back to the whole transformative and magical experience of being in the theater and seeing a new movie? Let me know of your different feelings going on with movies and how you feel about just films and filmmaking overall. And I already have my thoughts and review on Tenet, so even if you haven't seen it, completely spoiler-free review on the movie, so go ahead and check out my review for Tenet. Probably won't be up there. Check in the description or at the end of this video, check out the review. We'll give a really good example of what's going on in the movie. I think Nolan really continues to top himself in his work. Really exceptional work from him. And until later, go write something, go make something, and go watch good movies. Yeah, I had to do that again. So I'll go into, I almost had it, and the battery on my camera is running down. Dang it, now I have to do another roll.